the person, but I'm trying to make my English suitable for everybody. Whether you speak English, whether you can understand a little bit of English. I don't know if comprehensible is a word, but basically the goal is to help you guys understand a little bit more. Why do I speak so fluently, or why do I pronounce words so well? Because I grew up in Canada, right? I grew up in Canada. I was in Canada from 6 until 18. You can be sure that my English is good. I have a 9 on the IELTS as well. So you can be absolutely sure that my English is good, right? So I have a 9 on the IELTS. You guys can come and watch and listen every day, and you can ask questions in the comment section down below. I'll try my best to help you guys out as much as possible. Speaking slowly doesn't make you fluent. You're right. If you speak slowly, it doesn't sound fluent. But the thing is, sometimes beginners don't even understand the words. They can't differentiate the words. So you need to speak slowly. You need to say one word at a time. You need to use easy words and say them again and again and again. Like, do you understand? Do you understand? Right? I need to say things very slowly for beginners. Right? So it depends on the person. Some people don't need you to speak that slowly, but some people who still struggle need you to speak slowly. They need you to repeat what you say, and they need you to, they need you to explain in Chinese sometimes. Like if I say a noun like apple, and they're like, what? Huh? What is an apple? Then I have to explain, right? It's a fruit, right? It's 苹果. I have to translate. If they don't know, then I have to translate. And like, for example, even in my stream, when I say a noun, like for example, if I say Malaysia, I'll translate for you. Malaysia, there you go. I'll translate nouns for you. Or for example, if I say I grew up in Vancouver, Canada, right? I grew up in Wenghua, right? I'll translate for you because it's a noun. So with certain words, you have to translate. With certain ideas, you have to translate. And with certain, perhaps, sentences, you need to explain in Chinese. Okay? How long does it take to understand a foreigner? I'm not too sure. It depends on your current skill level. It depends on how much you practice and use English, right? When you ask how long it takes, I can't give you an answer. But what I can say is it might take you 2,000 or 3,000 hours of practice, right? You need to practice for a long time. So that's 1 or 2 or 3 hours every day, right? And when I say practice, I don't mean for you to just sit down and learn from, like, for example, a TV show or like from a teacher. You can practice as you live your life. You can speak English by yourself. You can listen to English while you drive, or listen to English when you're taking the subway, or when you're on a plane. You can listen to English before you sleep. You can listen to English after you wake up. You can watch videos in English. You can write a journal in English. You can practice English throughout the day. You can practice throughout the day, so you can learn a lot of English, right? You can learn a lot of English, and you can get really, really good. So my personal recommendation is to help you guys, or is for you guys to listen to as much English as possible. Like, for example, in my streams, right? You can listen to as much English as possible. You can speak as much English as possible while you guys are doing other things. Like when you're cooking. When you're cooking, you can speak a bit of English. When you're shopping, right? When you're shopping, you can speak a little bit of English. When you're driving, you can listen to and speak English. When you're showering, you can listen to or speak English. You can do a lot of things at the same time. You can do it simultaneously, right? You can do it at the same time. So that's how you guys should be learning. You need to be putting English, integrating English into your daily lives, right? Whether it's 1 word or 2 words, right? It's just a little bit of English every single day, okay? And the goal is to use a little bit more every day, or to improve a little bit. Get a little bit better every day, okay? Yeah, so if you listen more, you'll stop translating. The reason I don't give you subtitles with English words or Chinese words is to help you guys stop translating. You don't need to translate. In the same way, if I speak Chinese for you, it doesn't help you. I need to speak English. Your English teacher needs to speak English. If they only speak Chinese, it doesn't help you. If I show you a Chinese word or like a Chinese translation, it doesn't help you. You think you understand because it's a translation, right? You think you understand, but you don't understand because the next time you won't be able to use it. You still need to translate. So again, you need to practice, right? You need to practice using the same words every day in English. Like if I say my phone, my phone, my phone, my phone, my phone, my phone, do you need to translate? Probably not. If I say take a picture, take a picture, take a picture, do you need to translate? Probably not. It's a lot of practice. If you practice more, if you look at pictures, if you look at videos, if you think about the feeling, you'll stop translating. You need to translate at the beginning, yes. But with a lot of easy words, if you use it more, you can understand without translating. Right? It's okay to translate. At the beginning, it's okay to translate. At the beginning, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to use some Chinese, right? But as you keep learning, as you keep improving, right, you need to use less Chinese when you speak English. Right? You need to differentiate Chinese and English. So when you speak Chinese, you use Chinese. When you speak English, you use English. That's it, right? So at the beginning, you might connect these two, like apple is 苹果, apple is 苹果, right? Or banana is 香蕉, banana is 香蕉. But then as you keep using the language, as you keep learning the language, right? As you learn the language, you'll stop translating. If you say banana 5 times a day, do you still need to translate? No, right? If I say water 5 times a day, water shui, do you still need to translate after 10 days? No, it's just using it more. If you use it more, you stop translating or you translate less, okay? Yeah, it just takes a little bit of practice. Yeah. Should you turn on subtitles when you practice your listening? Not for the first, pass through, right? The first time you listen to something, you shouldn't use subtitles. Right? If you don't understand, listen to it again. Slow it down and listen to it again. Focus harder and listen to it again, right? And then if you really don't understand, you can use subtitles. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't translate, but at the beginning, for the first or second try, you need to at least listen to the English or think about the English, right? That's what I do with my students. When I say something and they say, "What? I don't understand," then I say it slower. I repeat it. I use something easier. If I use a hard word, maybe I'll use an easier word. Like if I say, "Oh, this is so difficult." "What? I don't understand." This is so difficult. I don't understand. This is so hard, very hard, not easy, right? You can always use very easy words to describe harder words, right? Not difficult becomes hard. Or sorry, difficult becomes hard, becomes not easy. No easy, not easy, right? Then you can understand without translating. You can understand without using the Chinese. I don't need to translate for you on the first pass through. Like I don't need to say difficult, 很难, right? Difficult is hard, which is not easy. If you don't translate, you'll get so much better. Okay, you'll get so much better if you don't translate. Use easier English to understand harder English. Yeah, you have a question every single time you speak English. You can't think of the right words. What should you do? Oh, that's actually a really good question. I like that. I like that question, actually. If you can't think of the right words, the majority of the time, it's because you're stuck on the grammar, right? You don't know what you know what you want to talk about, but you don't know how to link words together. You don't know how to put words together. So what you need to do is you need to take whatever word you're trying to use and practice putting it in sentences first, right? You need to practice putting it in sentences first. Like, for example, if I want to use a word like what word can I use? Okay, we're going back to the spray bottles. I literally don't have another example I could give you. this is a spray bottle, right? So, like, for example, yeah, I don't know how to use it. So I need to practice. If I see a word, if I see a noun, if I see a verb, I need to practice. This is a spray bottle, right? This is mosquito repellent. This is for mosquitoes, right? I can search it up if I need to, right? I spray this bottle. I kill mosquitoes with this spray, right? This spray is very useful. This spray will kill mosquitoes. I spray this around my room. I spray this under my table. I spray this on my body. I spray this maybe, in the air, right? That's how you practice, right? That's how you practice. So if you find something that you want to talk about, you can't do it on the first try, obviously. You can't do it on the first try, but you can look around your room. You can search it up online to see how you can talk about it, to see what's right and what's wrong, right? So yes, you won't be able to talk about it on the first try, right? If you don't know how to use a word, you won't be able to do it on the first try. You won't be able to use it as soon as you think about it. But you need to make sentences by yourself when you're practicing, right? Like, for example, a book, right? I read a book, a chapter in a book. I'm on chapter 5 in my book. A book has a lot of pages. I'm on page 17. I'm on page 30. I read a book with my eyes. I don't know, right? I need glasses to read a book. I need to flip through the book, right? So there's a lot of things that you have to practice, right? There's a lot of things that you have to practice. So again, it's just taking words and using them by yourself sometimes, right? You have to use words by yourself sometimes, or else you won't be able to use them when you're speaking. You have to practice by yourself, okay? I'm currently in China, by the way. I'm currently in Guangzhou. I live in China. I work in China. If you guys like English, you can subscribe in the top left corner. I stream at 12 and 9:30 every day. You guys can come and watch and listen and ask questions as well. I'm trying to give you guys an immersive English environment so you guys can get better. My name is Eli. I grew up in Canada and I have a 9 on the IELTS. So you can be sure that my English is good. You can be sure that all of the English you hear is correct with good grammar, good pronunciation, good intonation, good use of words and easy sentences that you can hear and slowly understand, right? You can slowly think in English and slowly get better. You can donate a fan sign if you want to support me, and you can use your finger to tap on the screen like this to give me some likes. Thank you. 可以帮忙点点赞，送送灯牌，点点关注，谢谢大家。Thank you. Yeah. Welcome. Yeah, but the goal is to help you guys out as much as possible. Can I talk about what food I'm having for lunch? I have no clue. My dad still hasn't cooked yet. My dad is supposed to cook for me every day, but I woke up too late today, so he didn't cook yet. I have no clue what he's gonna cook, so he's probably cooking right now. My dad is a saint. This guy has to go to work, like every day. He has to work, but today, he actually is going to work late because he works at a factory. He can work into the night. He doesn't have to be there in the morning. He can work at night. So he's going to cook for me, and then he's going to go to work. He's going to go to work at 1 or 2 p.m., and then he won't come back tonight, and then he'll come back tomorrow. So he does a lot for me, and it does help me out a lot. He helps me out a lot. He makes my life so much better. Like... It's good to have parents that do all the work for you. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It feels very, very nice to not have to do work. I hate doing work. It feels really good to have a parent just do all of the work for me. Yeah. Ah, what an actual blessing, I know, right? If you guys don't understand, you can come and watch and listen every day. If you listen for 10 or 20 days, right, you'll be able to get so much better. You'll be able to get so much better, and then you guys can, slowly ask questions and slowly think in English and slowly use more words and learn more words. Okay? Yeah, you heard one sentence. I hate doing work. Yeah, I don't like doing work. I don't like cooking. It's just too much physical labor. You know, I'm lazy. So, yeah. It's honestly because I'm personally not very diligent. I don't like to do a lot of work. So I actually do appreciate the fact that my dad helps me, but in the future, he won't be able to help me. He won't be able to do all of the work that I need him to do. So I need to start being independent. I need to start doing things by myself. I need to start working hard by myself. I need to start putting in effort to cook, or not maybe to cook, but at least to work hard and have a good career so I can hire somebody to cook. I don't know, but that's my plan in the future. I definitely don't want to cook. If I have enough money, I'll hire somebody to cook. I'll ask, like a housekeeper to cook, but I won't cook, okay? I refuse to cook. It's just too much work and it takes too much time. Like for me, I know how to cook. It's not like I don't know how to cook. I know how to cook, but the problem is I refuse to cook. I will never cook. It's too time consuming. We call it time consuming. It takes too much time. So I refuse to spend 2 hours a day on cooking when I can spend 2 hours a day watching videos. I can watch videos, or I can play video games, or I can talk to my friends, or I can work and teach English. So I refuse to cook. I refuse to cook. Yeah. How do you say the word G? Like, for example, good. It's a little bit of practice. The first thing you need to do is find a video online that teaches you how to make the G sound, right? And then you practice with every single word, like looking, doing, good, great, grape. I don't know, right? But there are a lot of different ways you practice, but what you'll need to do is you'll need to start with basic English, right? So you can start with 1 or 2 sounds and then move on to 1 or 2 words. It's just practice. In the same way that my students, for example, struggle with the R sound, with the L sound, you just have to practice. You find words that contain the sounds, and then you slowly get better at creating those sounds, at making those sounds. You slowly get better at speaking. Okay, how do you improve your vocabulary or expand your vocabulary? The only thing that you can really do is to just speak more and use the words. If you memorize the words, it doesn't help you. If you read and listen, but you don't use the words, it doesn't help you, right? If you want to just get familiar with more words, read and listen. But if you want to be able to speak using the words, you have to practice. If you want to use the words, you need to practice. So it's very, very different. It's incredibly different. You need to practice. If you don't practice, you won't be able to understand. Okay? Yeah. Let me quickly see. I'm pretty sure this guy is insulting me, but it doesn't matter. If you're learning the IELTS, do you need to go to an institute? Not really. You can learn by yourself. Like for me, I learned by myself. Right? I learned by myself. I only had an 8.5 at the beginning in 2023, and then in 2025 I did another test and I got a 9. So I learned all of it by myself. You can study online, you can look online for the correct methods, right? You can look online for the methods, you can look online for the questions. Everything's basically free. It's almost entirely free. Obviously, if you learn with me, for example, I'll teach you methods that I use to get a really high score, and that my students can also use to get a really high score, right? It might be different than if you were learning by yourself because I give you feedback, but that's the only difference. The only difference between a teacher and learning by yourself is a teacher gives you feedback. That's what I tell all of my students. A teacher gives you feedback, so they tell you what you need to do and what you don't need to do. They tell you what's right and they tell you what's wrong. That's the only difference. The only difference is you get constant feedback so you can improve far faster, right? I think my students can improve 2 or 3 times as quickly if I give them just a little bit of feedback, right? Feedback, not fadeback, feed, eat, F-E-E-D. Feedback means you get basically told, someone tells you if you're right or if you're wrong, right? So all you need is a little bit of feedback. If you have a little bit of feedback, you improve. Trust me. Okay? Yeah, and you improve a lot faster. You don't understand anything. Can I say one word at a time? No. But if you keep listening, right, it's not me saying one word at a time. It's you listening to one word or one sound at a time. If you think my English is too difficult, you start by using one word at a time, right? So you start by using one word at a time. You start by listening to one word or one sound at a time. So for example, if you don't understand the entire sentence, listen to one word, if, right? If you don't, right? You listen to one word at a time, and then you slowly get better. I'm not going to say one word at a time. That's not how English works. I won't say it like this, right? That's not how any English speaker speaks, right? But the goal is to help you guys catch up to me. So I can speak a bit slower like this maybe. You can listen to each word individually and then put words together. But it's up to you to listen to each word individually, one word at a time, right? So you're not listening, I'm not saying one word at a time, but you need to listen for one word or one sound at a time, right? You hear one, right? Time, I, right? Like you listen to one sound at a time. Like for example, if I say time, you can hear the I sound in there, right? Time, right? Then you listen more time, oh, time. And then you slowly understand, right? So again, it's mainly about catching one sound at a time and then two sounds at a time. And then you can combine those sounds into words and then you combine the words into sentences. So it's just a little bit of practice. Okay, so again, all of the sounds I'm making are relatively clear and simple, right? I'm speaking like I would if I, for example, were trying to make every word as clear as possible so everybody can understand, right? The goal isn't to just have a conversation. The goal is to help you guys understand. So as a teacher, my job is to speak clearly. My job is to use easy English. My job is to repeat what I say all the time to help you guys. Okay, thank you, Davis. I appreciate your compliment. Yeah, basically, the goal is to help you guys out. Obviously, I grew up in Canada, and I've been doing this for, 2 years now? So my English is very, very good. You can be sure of it because I have a 9 on the IELTS as well. And then you guys can come and watch and listen every day. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, but basically, the point is to practice. If you struggle with speaking, if you don't understand the hardest words, right? Or if you don't understand how to use the easiest words, you need to practice. You need to put those words into sentences. If you don't practice, you won't be able to get better. Okay, thank you guys for your support. Thank you for your guys' help. Welcome to the stream. If you like English, subscribe in the top left corner. Yeah, so if you want to support me, you can subscribe in the top left corner right over here. You can donate a fan sign for 10 cents. It helps me out a lot. I stream at 12 and 9:30. I stream at these 2 times every day. You guys can come back and watch and listen. Okay? Yeah. Do Chinese people not practice enough? Well, 1 week. Not in the way that you should practice. Okay? 1 week. You need to practice by speaking. I'll quickly say this in Chinese because it's very, very self-explanatory. 如果我想学钢琴，我是自己弹钢琴比较好，还是我是拿一个五线谱，天天去写五线谱比较好？ Which do you think helps you? Right? 我写100万张五线谱，我抄100万张五线谱，能不能让我弹会这个钢琴？ You won't be able to understand if I say this stuff in English. So, right, that's practice. 我抄五线谱也是 practice. Right? That's also practice. That's what you guys do. Right? I take sheet music and I just copy it with a pen and paper. Right? Do, re, mi, do, re, mi. I can say it too. Do, re, mi, do, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Right? But does that actually help you play the piano? Do your hands move? Do you learn how to play? Probably not. So, do you practice enough? Sure. Do you practice in the right way? No, unfortunately not, right? You're not doing the right thing. You're just practicing incorrectly. So how can I say that you're practicing correctly or you're practicing enough? So no, you don't practice enough. What you're doing is practically the most pointless thing anybody can think of. Right? It's the same as, like I said earlier, if you're trying to learn an instrument, but you only copy the sheet music. You're just writing it down like an idiot instead of actually playing. Right? Or for example, if you want to practice singing, but you don't open your mouth. Right? 哦，我的歌词都背下来了。我天天背邓紫棋的歌词，我为什么唱不出来？我为什么唱的时候跑调？我天天在背歌词啊。全都是泡沫，为什么难过？为什么唱不出来？ I don't know. Don't ask me. Right? It's very, very obvious. Right? It's just you're not practicing in the right way. Right? Memorization doesn't really do anything. You need utilization. You're not just writing everything down. You're not just saying one word at a time. You need to put words together in the right ways. You need to say the entire sentence together, right? Yeah. So again, if you want to sing, you practice singing. You don't just say the words. If you want to speak, you practice speaking. You don't just say the words. Right? If you wanna speak, you need to speak and not just write everything down. Right? It's all just practice. Okay? If you practice, you get so much better. What am I saying? Literally nothing important. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm literally not saying anything super important. I need to ban that phrase. Guri-guara. Everybody likes to type this. I don't know what this says. Let me copy and paste this down, and then because like this is just completely wasted space. Can I translate? Unfortunately not. The goal is to help you guys learn. The goal isn't to help you guys listen to English, right? Or listen to Chinese. You listen to enough Chinese already. You listen to Chinese every day, so you should probably stop listening to Chinese and focus more on listening to English. If you guys want to support me, by the way, you can subscribe in the top left corner. You can join my fan group for 10 cents, and you can donate a fan sign as well. These things help me out a lot. You can use your finger and tap on the screen like this to give me some likes. That also helps me out a lot too. It brings more people into my stream, and it tells Douyin that you like me. I stream at 12 and 9:30 every day. You guys can come and watch and listen. Okay. 可以帮忙点点赞，送送灯牌，谢谢大家。If everybody collectively taps on the screen 200 times, I'll be the happiest man in the whole wide universe. Trust me. Yeah, my goal is to get to 100,000 likes. Thank you. Yeah, if you don't know how to write, then how should you learn words? By using them, right? Or if you don't know how to write the words down, what should you do? Right, the first thing you do is you say the word. Saying the word comes above writing the word down. If you can say the word, you can write it down relatively easily. But if you can't say the word and you can only write it down, you won't be able to say it. So if you can say it, you can write it a lot easier. So all you have to do is start writing or start speaking more. Right? When you start speaking, you'll slowly understand what letters make what sounds, right? What letters create what sounds. So then when you're able to make the sound, you'll know what letter it should be, or roughly what letter it should be. Like if I say blue, if you can say blue, well, B is from B, L is from L, right? Blue, oo, and then what's oo, right? It's UE or OO or O, right? It's one of those sounds. So, or EW perhaps, right? So then that's how you practice. You say it first, and then you learn the spelling. You always say it first and then learn the spelling. You never learn the spelling first and then say it, right? Saying it is far more important. That's how I learn. That's how every English speaker learns. If you're any good at English, that's how you learn. Anybody who has an 8 or above on the IELTS will tell you that they learn words by saying them first before writing them down, right? That's the truth. Okay. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully I can help you guys out. How do you improve your reading skills? Also practice? Yes, but you do need to understand the English first. So my recommendation would be to speak first. Yeah, so if you can speak, you can understand a lot more. And that's basically what we call a rule of thumb. A rule of thumb means it's basically a rule for everything that applies to everything. It's called a rule of thumb. Basically, if you speak, you can do anything else. But if you don't speak, you won't be able to do anything else. So speaking is a lot more important. Okay. What's the difference between refuse and turn down? Refuse means to say no, right? That means like I will not, I refuse. It's more impolite. If you turn something down, that's most likely saying, no, thank you, I don't want it. So that might be more polite, right? So if you say refuse, it's just no, right? It's basically a bigger word for no. It's a harder word for no. If you turn something down, that's usually saying no politely, saying I don't want to, right? So that would be the difference, right? So refuse means to say no, but then turn down means perhaps to say no politely. Okay, that would be it. And of course, we should probably not argue with the haters. Yeah, I don't really know what to tell you guys. A lot of people don't like me for some reason, so they're always here insulting me for no reason. Yeah. Which university did I go to? I haven't been to university. I only have a grade 12 education. So I was in Canada from grade 1 until grade 12. I did all of my education in Canada. Well, all of my, K to 12 education in Canada. But I don't actually have a university education. I've never been to university. I don't think it's useful. I don't think it would help me. And just in general, right, as an English teacher, going to university doesn't really help you, right? It doesn't necessarily help you teach better. Like, for example, if I go to university and I learn engineering, does that help me teach you? Probably not. If I go to university and I learn, human resources, does that help me teach you? Probably not. If I learn something like, psychology or biomechanics, would that help you? Probably not. So going to university won't really help you unless you actually learn something related to education, which most English teachers don't. Welcome. Hey, what's up, Watermelon? Long time no see. Yeah. How old am I? I'm currently 21 years old. So I'm not super old, but I'm also not super young. So I need to work hard. This is the right moment to learn or to work hard, right? If I don't work hard, I won't be able to succeed in the future. My career is slipping out of my hands. Yeah, and there's nothing I can do. My career is disappearing as we speak, so I gotta work hard. Yeah. Okay. How about an English major? It wouldn't really help you because if you major in English, you're not learning how to teach. The only thing that really helps you is majoring in education, perhaps, or majoring in English education, or learning something like a CELTA or a DELTA, right? You have to learn how to teach English. That's basically the only thing that helps you. And of course, for me, I learned how to teach English through experience, right? I learned how to teach by practicing teaching a lot of people. So I taught a lot of people, so I know exactly how to teach. When do you use the word would? Would is hypothetical, right? Would means if. It means can, right? It's something you don't know. Like, for example, if I had a lot of money, I would stop working. It's hypothetical. I don't know, right? It's not true. So I would. Or for example, if I had time, I would, right? Or for example, in the past, right? If I could have, I would have. If I had money, I would have, right? That's if, right? Generally, would goes with if. And then you can also ask someone, like, would you help me? Right? Would you be willing to help? That's not saying can you. That's not me asking you to help. That's me asking you if you want to help. If you have the ability to help, right? If you want to. So would you do something for me, right? It's a lot less than could you or can you. Okay, so it's more hypothetical. It's an if, right? It's something I'm not sure about. It's something I don't know. Okay? Yeah, practice is also the most important for teaching. True. 100% true. Yeah. So using a rising tone is better. What does that mean? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it depends on the situation and the sentence, right? So like in some sentences, you have like, like for example, in a question, right? You need to raise certain sounds, right? Like, do you want to help me? Right? That's a rising tone. But if it's just a statement, right? Right? Like for example, like, I'm ugly, right? That's just a statement. You don't need to change anything when it comes to the intonation. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. So basically, ABC, it depends on the sentence. Not every sentence needs that intonation or needs different intonation. It really depends on what situation you're in, right? So the best way to learn intonation is either with a teacher, right? So either you have a teacher or you mimic, right? You can mimic the intonation, and that's how you learn. Okay? Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna be ending my stream. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you guys for your support. Again, I stream for an hour each at 12 and 9:30. Make sure to subscribe in the top left corner. Subscribe in the top left corner and come back tomorrow. Okay, come back tomorrow or come back, anytime. You can come back tonight as well. My streams are at 12 and 9:30. So my streams are at 12 and 9:30. You guys can come back and watch and listen and ask questions, but make sure to subscribe. Be sure to subscribe. Okay? If you like English, if you want to get better at English, come back and watch and listen. Okay, 有听不懂的人在看吗？肯定啊，都是在学的呀。Everybody's learning, right? Everybody's learning. So they listen to 1 or 2 words at a time, and then they slowly get better, right? It's not like they understand everything. If you understand everything, you wouldn't watch me, right? Everybody's still learning, okay? Everybody's still trying to get better. Yeah, but make sure to subscribe. I grew up in Canada, so you can be sure that my English is good. I speak with an American accent, so I speak like an American. You guys can come and watch and listen and slowly get better all the time. Okay, so make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to give you guys an immersive English environment. See you guys. Come back at these times. Okay, bye. Thank you. Bye. 不客气哈，听了1个月有明显进步。Intonation 讲的是语调啊，不客气，拜。